Hi friends, in today's video, we're sharing an incredible story of hope and perseverance. Meet Joshua, a 12-year-old boy whose life changed forever after a tragic accident. Through faith, determination, and the love of his family, Joshua's journey shows us that no obstacle is too big to overcome. Stay tuned and be inspired by this powerful story of courage, resilience, and triumph. The sun cast its golden glow over the small suburban neighborhood as 12-year-old Joshua raced his bicycle home from school. He loved the thrill of feeling the wind rush past his face as he sped down the hill leading to his family's house. That day, however, something went terribly wrong. A car, unseen until it was too late, turned onto the street. In the chaos that followed, Joshua's life was changed forever. The phone call came shortly after 3 p.m. for Joshua's family. Sarah, Joshua's mother, answered with her usual warmth, but the panic in the caller's voice instantly sent chills down her spine. "Your son has been in an accident," the voice said, trembling. Sarah dropped the phone, tears flooding her eyes, while David, her husband, quickly took the receiver to get the details. Within minutes, they were in the car, rushing to the hospital with prayers spilling from their lips. In the sterile hospital room, Sarah and David's hearts broke as they saw Joshua unconscious on the bed, his body bruised and broken. The doctors explained the extent of his injuries. "Your son has suffered significant spinal trauma," the doctor said gravely. "He's paralyzed from the waist down, and while there's a chance for improvement with therapy and determination, it's unlikely he'll ever walk again." Those words felt like a dagger to their hearts. Joshua's bright future, his love for soccer, his dreams of exploring the world, seemed to shatter before their eyes. When Joshua finally woke up, the reality of his condition hit him like a tidal wave. He wept openly as his parents clutched his hands, promising him that he wouldn't face this journey alone. Adjusting to life in a wheelchair was no easy task for Joshua. Simple things like getting dressed, moving around the house, or reaching for a book on a high shelf became monumental challenges. His parents rearranged the house to make it more accessible, and his older sister, Emily, took on the role of his biggest cheerleader. At school, things were equally difficult. Some of his friends didn't know how to act around him, while others avoided him altogether. But amidst the struggles, there were rays of hope. His best friend Cyril remained steadfast, pushing Joshua's wheelchair between classes and encouraging him with Bible verses. Joshua's family's faith was tested like never before. Every evening, they gathered in the living room, holding hands and praying fervently for Joshua's healing. Their church community also rallied around them, organizing prayer chains and visiting regularly to uplift the family's spirits. One Sunday, Pastor Greg delivered a sermon on perseverance and God's miraculous power. "We may not always understand His timing," he said, "but God is faithful to those who trust in Him." Those words resonated deeply with Joshua, who began to hold on to hope despite his circumstances. Physical therapy was grueling. Joshua often felt like giving up as his legs refused to respond the way he wanted them to. "Why try?" he asked his therapist one day, tears streaming down his face. "I'll never walk again." "You don't know that," the therapist replied gently. "But even if walking takes years or doesn't happen, every effort you make strengthens your body and mind. Don't underestimate the power of perseverance." Joshua's parents and Emily were always there to encourage him. They celebrated his smallest victories, like being able to sit up unaided for a few minutes, and reminded him that God's plan was still unfolding. As word of Joshua's journey spread, support poured in from unexpected places. Neighbors brought meals, Local businesses donated to cover medical expenses, and his classmates organized a fundraiser to buy him a state-of-the-art wheelchair. These acts of kindness were constant reminders of God's love working through people. Joshua also drew strength from his growing relationship with God. He began journaling his prayers and reading stories of healing in the Bible. Slowly but surely, his despair turned into determination. Months into therapy, Joshua began to notice subtle changes. Though his legs still wouldn't bear weight, he could wiggle his toes for the first time since the accident. The moment brought tears of joy to his family and renewed hope for his recovery. "This is just the beginning," his therapist said. "Your body is responding to your hard work. Keep going." At home, Emily habitually celebrated every milestone, no matter how small. "God's hand is in this," she said one evening, placing a hand on Joshua's shoulder. "He's got big plans for you." Despite the progress, there were days when Joshua felt consumed by doubt and frustration. "Why did God let this happen to me?" he cried one night. His parents sat beside him, their eyes filled with compassion. "Sometimes we don't understand his ways," David said softly. "But we do know that he never leaves us. He's using this to strengthen you and show his glory." Joshua nodded, though the weight of his struggles remained. He decided to channel his frustration into effort, pushing himself harder during therapy and praying for strength each day. One evening during family prayer time, Joshua's grandmother shared a story of a friend who had recovered from a similar injury through sheer determination and faith. "God works miracles," she said. "Never lose hope, Joshua." Inspired, Joshua asked his parents if he could attend a healing service at their church. The service, filled with worship and testimonies, left him feeling uplifted. While he didn't experience immediate physical healing, his spirit felt renewed. Joshua's school organized an inclusive sports day to show support for him and others with disabilities. Though nervous, Joshua decided to participate in the wheelchair race. To his surprise, he won first place. The cheers of his classmates and teachers filled him with pride. "You're inspiring everyone around you," Caleb said after the event. Joshua smiled, realizing that even in his challenges, he could be a light to others. As weeks turned into months, Joshua found himself growing mentally stronger. Though he still faced daily challenges, he began to tackle them with newfound determination. He joined an online support group for young people with similar injuries, finding solace in their shared experiences. Emily nodded. "And neither does God's plan for you. Keep trusting Him." One day, during a visit to the rehabilitation center, Joshua watched as another patient painted a beautiful landscape using adaptive tools. Inspired, he decided to try art himself. Though his hands initially struggled to hold the brush steadily, he persevered, creating colorful works that reflected his inner journey. "It's like therapy for my soul," Joshua said, showing his family a painting of a sunrise. "It reminds me that each day is a new beginning." His artwork soon caught the attention of his community, and a local gallery offered to display his pieces. For Joshua, it was a reminder that God could still use him to inspire others in unexpected ways. Not every day was a victory. There were moments when Joshua felt overwhelmed by pain or frustration. During one therapy session, he fell while trying to transfer from his wheelchair to a bench. The embarrassment and sting of failure brought him to tears. His therapist, Mrs. Carter, knelt beside him. "Every champion has bad days, Joshua. What matters is that you get back up and try again." At home that evening, his family gathered to pray for strength and resilience. "God's strength is made perfect in our weakness." Pastor Greg's words echoed in Joshua's mind as he resolved to keep going. Joshua's persistence began to pay off in small but meaningful ways. He managed to stand with the help of parallel bars during therapy, a feat that brought tears of joy to his parents and cheers from the staff. "You're defying the odds," Mrs. Carter told him. The milestones brought encouragement, but Joshua also discovered a deeper joy, helping others. He started mentoring a younger boy at the rehabilitation center who struggled with his own paralysis. "If I can do this, so can you," he told the boy, sharing his own journey of faith and perseverance. As Joshua continued to progress, his church organized a special Day of Hope to celebrate his journey and inspire others. Joshua shared his testimony, describing how God had used his family, friends, and even strangers to uplift him. "This journey isn't just about me walking again," he said. "It's about learning to trust God and seeing His hand in everything." The event brought the community closer, reinforcing the idea that God's healing often works through people. Joshua left that day feeling more determined than ever to continue his journey.
Thank you so much for watching today's video on Jugrali Insights. If you enjoyed this story and found it inspiring, don't forget to like this video, comment below to share your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel for more uplifting content. Also, feel free to share this video with your friends and family to help spread hope and encouragement. Thanks again for tuning in. See you in the next video.